Hello viewers, Super GT here again, and I'm back with another Forza 4 commentary, and I'm using my trusty Ford Mustang. He just goes flying into me. He sort of, I don't know what that was for. I actually anticipated this, but I didn't quite get out of the way in time. I saw him coming, and then here we go, he hit me. With a bit more precision, I'll do all I have to do here, and then just nudge him off. There we go, nice and simple.
Hello viewers, modern and up-to-date Super GT here now. I've just got back from my time travelling session from 2013 and I returned from Forza 4 to now play Forza 7 to see if there's been any updates in how clean... No, there haven't been, no. It's all the same as we end up mating with a Nissan Skyline here on the bridge at Prague, and that guy's just dead. Now the frame rate for some reason dropped down to about 0.0000001. I could barely even control the car. Coming through the chicane of death, somehow magically traverse it without dying. And well, you know, you can't play the game when it's quite like this, so we're going to quit that. That was a weird little reintroduction to Forza 7. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to start again. Now, the title of the video, you know, this is a blast from the past, because I was looking back at some of my older videos and cringing, just absolutely cringing at the level of commentary. It's quite funny. Even now I'm still quite monotone, but back then it was even worse. So I was looking at those videos, and there was two cars that stood out for me as the ones I used to like, especially in A class. The Ford Mustang 2005. This is the 2007 version, because the 2005 one isn't in the game. As we just look at this Beetle come flying back onto the circuit with a weird sort of bounce off of the wall. I couldn't quite work out how he's managed to do that. Weird things going on in Forza. And the other car I was using back then was the Honda NSX from 2005. So those tended to be the cars I would stick to. Those are my two favourite cars in A-Class by quite a long way. So I thought I'd try and recreate some of the magic from back in Forza 4. You know, many consider it to be the peak of Forza, and well, I can't go wrong with that judgment really. I do think Forza 6 was better, but on the whole, Forza 4 was very good. Try and recreate some of those moments. So here we have the 2007 Ford GT, as I say. The 2005 version isn't in the game, and I'll also do some races in the Honda NSX from 2005. And see if I can recreate some of the magic, see if I can actually win a race, see if I can do anything good, or will I just get pummeled into on the bridge at Prague mating with the Nissan Skyline. Well, that's already happened, but we'll see if it happens again. So this guy goes way wide, going from pretty much the back of the pack up into about 4th place. A couple of positions left to gain here. First place is a long way away, and of course, Forza the way it is, the races are very, very short, only 2 laps here, when ideally you need 3 or 4 to really settle down and have a decent race. So we're going to try and make the most of it in the little time that we have, as the guy ahead goes way into the gravel, kicks up a smoke screen. Doesn't quite block my vision enough though to give me the power to go past him as we run up to Blanchimont. So quite close to actually making contact there. So now catch up with the second Evo and try to follow him through Blanchimont as quick as possible. Doing my best to keep 2 wheels on that curve, just about get it done. Into the final chicane, the bus stop chicane. A little bit late on the brakes, and I'm going to tap him in the rear end, rear quarter panel, send him spinning, back off slightly. He's going to keep the position just about. And then I get displaced third, albeit only for about 2 seconds, as I then can power easily past. This car definitely has a straight line speed. It just handles like a bit of a boat through some of the slow corners, such as this. Contact from behind. Should have probably expected that, given that I did exactly the same thing to him 1 corner ago. And let's see how this absolute aircraft carrier can handle Eau Rouge and Radion. Going through, okay, you do have to get on the brakes at the bottom of the hill. And yeah, braking track limits at the top of the crest. Now that race pretty much died there, and we crossed the line eventually in 2nd place, so a fairly good start I suppose, starting quite towards the back. And we go from then there's actually the Shelby GT500, but it's as close as I could get to the 2005 Ford Mustang. And we move to the 2005 Honda NSX R. Really love this car. Really good car actually. The Honda NSX. Always been a successful car in a roundabout A or S class. Sometimes even B class as well actually. Can be very successful there. So we go to one of the most carnage-filled circuits in the game, which is Rio Mini. So this is never going to end well, as we can see barely 10 seconds into the race, get punted into the wall. I don't think anyone actually knows the braking zone for that. I think scientists are still trying to work it out as we come round into this slightly more familiar section. Once we get around this corner, here's the Beetle who did some weird sorcery in the previous race off the tyre barrier. And then into this left-hand hairpin here, very tight corner, and we're, typical Forza Motorsport move, get completely lunged out of nowhere. And I've been sent back to 9th. So the recovery race is now in progress. Can we recover some of our pride really, and morality, and just outright just position, I suppose, in the race? 10 laps of mayhem to deal with. It's a very tight and cosy circuit. Subaru goes really wide up the inside of the Infinity, very narrow line. It's a very long corner, very misleading that corner actually, very easy to get wrong. As we pull away up into 6th place, I'm in a comfortable position. I'm very familiar with this, so it actually is a blast from the past being in 6th place in a Honda NSX. Down into the hairpin, I've sorted out my braking zone. Scientists are no longer working it out, they're just watching this video and getting the result, getting the answer. So up behind another Honda NSX, seems to be a very popular choice. Although that is the freedom. Oh god! As I get punted from behind again. Oh my god, 3rd time, and it's only been lap 3. At this rate, it's going to be 1 a lap. Well, it has been 1 a lap so far. So yeah, I was going to say the freedom of Forza is that you can kind of choose a very wide range of vehicles and make them somewhat competitive. You're not always going to win every race. And well, he's not going to be competitive anymore by being punted into the wall. Fully deserved though, and well, I don't even care anymore. And a little bit later into the race, we are lap 5, position 4, up behind the battle for 2nd. Let's see if we can get past this one. We followed the Honda NSX kind of through the battle, around the outside through the long right, up the inside of the Evo, squeezing me narrow, just gives me a bit of room. And then again, sneaking up the inside through kind of the second half of that corner is very misleading. As we enter the final hairpin, a little bit deep. Expecting the big punt from behind, doesn't quite arrive, so up into 2nd. Can we hunt down the leader? We have been reeling him in a couple of 100 feet a lap, or 100 feet per lap. So I'm in 2nd, not too far behind, and with this kind of circuit, very short circuit, you're going to lap people. And of course, Forza doesn't have the ghosted back markers feature, so there's a very good chance that, well, he might just slow down and let you go. I don't know why he did that. I was expecting him to get punted by a back marker, but sometimes he just wants to slow down and let me win for some reason. But thank you, I'll take any victory I can get. So we move to the Bernese Alps. Now this is the good configuration. It avoids all the crap stuff down the other end, you'll see in just a moment. Beetle very quick off the line, but it's the NSXs which are pulling away at the front. So a duo of the Hondas. So going to tuck into the slipstream. This Shelby was really quick. He was the one who kind of just let me pass for no reason in the previous race. So I think he's going to be my close competitor, along with too many cooks here in the other Honda NSX. So over the crest, over the hill. So this is my favourite configuration of the Bernese Alps actually. So you turn left here, and you avoid some of the weirder corners down at the other end. So I think sometimes the corners around this circuit are kind of just too long and too wide, and this section is a little bit like that, but it's not as bad. So it's actually quite a nice flowing section, one turn after another, a little bit more technical. So come flying through here, late apex, very late apex, pretty much where the curb ends, and you've got a lot of run off to the right hand side. So sitting in 1st place, let's see if we can nail a lap here. The Shelby is right on our tail, less than 100 feet behind, as you can see on the left hand side of the screen. So don't always try to look behind all the time, perhaps in a good place. You see that proximity arrow there, so perhaps here's a good place to look behind. But we don't quite, there's no point. Sometimes you don't even need to, sometimes you just look at there. The meter on the left hand side, have a brief look. Go flying into this corner. Now this is a really common tactic in this game. Go flying into the corner, go really deep. Let go of the throttle, let go of the brake, let the car rotate mid-turn. and let the car kind of do the turning in one very quick stage and then accelerate out in a straight line. And apologies for the recording, Elgato being a bit of a dipshit at the moment, don't know why, just is. So then, lap 2, halfway through lap 2, just really trying to build that gap, trying to build some consistency. This Honda really just gives you that edge, you know, it really handles very nicely, very easy to control, easy to, you know, keep on top of those slides. You don't want it to be sliding everywhere. And on the throttle, there's just no drama at all. It just loves to accelerate without sliding out too much. You see just how nicely and gracefully I can kind of go through these corners, and it is a blast from the past actually. The Honda NSX probably was my favourite car back in Forza 4 in A class. Probably was my favourite, and that's saying something because I did put a lot of hours into that game. So to be my favourite car, you're doing well. As you then come up to the line to end lap 2 in the lead. This is lap number 4. Let's see if we can just complete the race to close it out. Being consistent for the first 2 laps. Half a second down in the first split on lap number 4. But as ever, the Shelby Cobra very close behind. I know I'm not looking behind, but you can see on the map, you can see his distance behind on the left hand side as we then come through fast sweeping right into the fast sweeping left and take a lot of speed through there. It's actually quite misleading. Run plenty of curb on the way out, and then again apexing right at the end of that curb, powering out, beautifully done, as we then come into the fast twisty little chicane into the long difficult final right left-hander. I don't know my rights and lefts, and it's very easy to, well, I don't even know the line round here, to be honest. It's kind of it's a misleading one, and there's different interpretations of how to take that corner. But it's a convincing victory, 2 in a row. I know the other one wasn't a real victory, but there we go. We then turn our attention. This is actually quite interesting because you saw at the start of the video I did a race around Mugello in a Ford Mustang from the mid-2000s, and here we go again. Let's see if we can repeat our glory from that race. And if you haven't seen that race, go back and watch it. Forza 4 racing as it should be, and it was a really good race. It was a 3-lap race, very much the same as this. And well, I won't spoil the outcome, but it was a very, very nice victory. Well, I just spoiled it now, sorry. But it was a very nice race, and it's well worth watching, even if you do know that I won. So, the Shelby really, really quick. This car, perhaps not the right car for this track. It is a beast. Just look at the size of it. It's massive. And through the fast direction changes that Mugello has, perhaps I've picked the wrong car. Although this car does have very good straight line speed, so that's the only upside, I suppose. And this circuit does have a long straight. Now, you may well have watched my Forza Motorsport 7 versus Gran Turismo Sport review video from last week, and many of you, well, there's actually a very positive response to that. Even though I chose GT Sport, many of the Forza fans were very, open about that. And I am still a Forza fan. I still love Forza. It's just I just sometimes have more enjoyable racing on Gran Turismo. It's just a bit harder, I think, in this game to get the good racing. You can get it, and you definitely can. And actually, this lobby that I was doing here, I really enjoyed it. I was actually having a lot of fun with the racing here. So it is possible. It's 100% possible to have good racing on Forza Motorsport 7. It's just sometimes a little bit harder to kind of find it, and often you can get into trouble with the pileups at the start of the race. That often happens. But on the whole, I think once you race quite a fair amount, then you are going to have the good races. So yeah, my overall verdict was that GT Sport was the better game, mainly just down to the quality of the online racing. Of course, there's other things that matter in a racing game, but for me, the quality of the online racing is very, very important, and GT Sport, I think, does it a little bit better with the way that it does the sportsmanship rating. But perhaps in Forza 8, let's assume it's going to be a thing. Perhaps they can introduce some sort of rating, and they are working on that race adjudication system. So there is going to be a system which will sort of be able to filter good and bad players and sort of penalise you if you break track limits or start ramming. So there is a system coming. We just don't know exactly when. So don't completely give up on Forza. Forza 7, they've developed it quite a lot since it launched. Think back to the launch. Think about how bad it was with all the crashes constantly. And I don't mean crashes on the track, I mean the game just crashed all the time. Multiplayer was almost unplayable at times as the S2000 goes through. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to fight for first, but perhaps second. The Honda the Honda S2000 has been on my tail for pretty much the whole race, looking for a way by, and it's already been 3 corners. He's already began to pull away, so it might be difficult to go for that move. The guy behind, thinking about a move halfway through that chicane, doesn't quite go for it. So they're queuing up to pass me now. I don't think I've quite got the right tune on this car, or I don't think I choose the right car, but as I said, I wanted to just use these cars as a blast from the past. Let's see if we can go about maintaining 3rd place. It's not quite going to be the classic that we saw back in the Forza 4 video, is this race, but you know, it's still a good race, even if you can just have a respectful race between people. I mean, I don't always expect to win, as long as everyone respects each other, then you know, that's all that matters really. As we now come out of the final turn to begin lap number 3 of 3, 1 more lap left to go. Is there a chance of completing a comeback to get second? The S2000 is pulling away on the whole, but I will reel him in slightly on this straight. I do have this slightly better top end, a little bit deep into turn 1. You can come back for that later apex. Definitely gained on that straight, but the Honda S2000, very nippy car. I remember it being extremely good in B class, borderline OP, but here in A class in Forza 7 seems to be, well, again, very good, but perhaps not overpowered. As we then come into the next chicane, the turn 4 and turn 5 chicane. So I mean, this circuit is a lot of direction changes, lots of left rights or right lefts. Most corners are in pairs, almost always. So you do need your car to kind of pivot nicely mid-turn, changing from one direction to the other. This car does feel a bit too heavy for that, despite it being an absolute monster back on Forza 4. Don't know what's happened. Don't know what has quite happened to it. I think it's just got a little bit too heavy now. Let's come up the hill, through the right-hander, over the crest. We've got that proximity area. It's now an Aston Martin who's given us the challenge. So the other guy in the American car has kind of just backed off slightly. So it's going to be a defensive race from here to the end. Not long left to go, about 1 more sector, or roughly 1, 2, 3, 4 more corners. And here's the first of them into it, nice and deep. I've left myself open on the inside. I'm surprised the Aston Martin didn't appear within that gap on the way out. Give to the right hand side before the left-right chicane, onto the back straight before the final corner. Not long left to go. I need to get this one right. So Aston Martin looks fairly nippy, and he could nip me to the line as we come up to the finish. So very close, just about blocking him, but then halfway through I have to get on the power to go to the outside of the track. Aston Martin gets through, not quite. Just insane with the challenge, but it's a good finish. I'm just about going to hold the position as we cross the line, and there we go. Now I do hope you enjoyed the video as always, guys, so yeah, do check out the other videos from Forza 4 and have a laugh at my commentary. Leave a comment and tell me how bad I used to be. But there we go. I do hope you enjoyed the video as always. I enjoyed this race. I enjoyed this little session back in the cars I used to love back from the older games. But there we go, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. As always, do let me know your thoughts. Subscribe for more of the same. And as always, if you did enjoy, do hit the like button, and I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.